Okay, trigonometry, the word problems, lesson 4. So you need to understand compass bearings. Let's say north, east, south, and west. Okay, so draw north 15 degrees west. So north, and I have to pivot 15 degrees west. So that would be the angle. South 30 degrees east. Oops. So south, so I start south and pivot 30 degrees east. Alright, write the directional angle. So you always start with your north or your south, so it's closest to the north versus the south. And north 80 degrees east. Okay. A kayak leaves and heads due east for 5 kilometers. So that's due east for 5 kilometers. At the same time, a second kayak travels south 60 degrees east for 4 kilometers. How far apart are they? Okay, so I would have to understand what this angle is. So between, on a compass, between two of these, there would be 90 degrees exactly. So because this was due east, this is 30 degrees. And now that I have it all set up, I have to determine would I use sine law or cosine law. And it looks like I have a SAS, so that's cosine law. So x squared equals 4 squared plus 5 squared minus 2, 4, 5 cos 30. And then you'll have to do that all in one step. And then don't forget that you still need to square root. And they are 2.52 kilometers apart. Number 2. A radar operator on a ship discovers a large sunken vessel lying parallel to the ocean surface 200 meters below the ship. So you're in the water, and directly below you see that you've found a vessel. There's a ship under the water there. Okay, it's 200 meters directly below, so you can put that there. The length of the vessel is what you're trying to figure out. The radar measures the angle of depression from the front and the back. So you need to understand the angle of depression and elevation. So if your eyes are looking straight, an angle of depression is flat down. And if your eyes straight, an angle up is elevation. So the angle of depression to the front and back, 56 and 62. Okay, that's an angle of depression. Figure out that. Okay, so I would know this is 28 because these two will make 90 degrees, and I would know this is 21. Okay, and I'm going to take this and do a right triangle. So I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA stuff. So if I have this angle, then I would have the adjacent, and that I want to know the the bottom here. Opposite, so opposite and adjacent, so I can use TOA. So tan 28 is the opposite over the adjacent. So if I tan 28 and times it by 200, I get 106.34. Okay, now I'm going to cover that up and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I want to know the opposite of 21 and I have the adjacent to it. So tan 21 equals opposite over 200. Oh, I'm sorry, here we go. I did a wrong angle. 34. That makes like 90. So tan 34 times 200 is 134.9. So altogether, I would just add those up. 241.24 meters is the vessel. Okay, there are different ways you could have done this. You could have done sine law and figured out this, and then SAS to figure out that. Okay, if you forgot how to use SOHCAHTOA stuff, you can use the strategies that we had, because you would have known that this would have been 62, 90, so you could have done this and this or whatever. There's a bunch of different methods. Okay, next. A flight starts in Altona, it flies to Dauphin, 305 kilometers on a path north 44 degrees west. So we're going west, so I'm gonna put Altona here. North 44 degrees west to Dauphin. After stopping at Dauphin, it flies to Melita, and that's south 21 degrees west. So that would be that. And let's get some numbers here, 305, 215. Okay, so that's what we have. And I don't really know this angle. Okay, so how are we going to figure this out? If he, how does he have to fly to return? So I want to know how to get from Melita back to Altona if I was to go straight. Okay, so if this is 44, this is 44 as well because of parallel lines. And then that would be alternating interiors. So this is 65 degrees. And now I have SAS. So I can go d squared equals 215 squared plus 305 squared minus 2 cos of 65. So calculator, don't forget to square root. And you get 289.52. Okay, but I want to figure out my compass bearing in this corner. So now I want that angle. So I'm going to go 289.52 over sine 65. And I'm going to go with a 305 over sine m. So I'm going to multiply and divide, and then sine inverse. And I get 72.7 degrees. Okay, now how does this work out? This was 21 in there because I alternate them, and 72. So if you are 21 and another 72.7, that leaves you as 93.7, okay, which means I'm not closer to north anymore, I'm actually closer to south. So 180 minus that is 86.3. So it would be south 86.3 degrees east. Okay, last question. They're measuring the length of a lake. So you measure it from two positions. So here's my lake. A and B are on opposite sides of the lake. They are 1320 meters apart. From B, the angle between the ends of the lake is 129 degrees. And the measure between the sight lines to A and one end of the lake is 96. So if I go A to one end, that's 96. Which I could now say that this is 33 degrees on that side to the other end. Okay, from A, the measure of the angle between the sight lines to the end of the lake is 43. The measure between the sight line to B and the same end of the lake, so looking from A, looking from B to the end of the lake, is 15 degrees. So therefore the other end of the lake would be 28. Okay, now that I have this, I can also get these two angles, because if I cover that up and I have like just the right hand side triangle, 1596. Okay, so that leaves 69 degrees in that corner. And if I cover this one up, I have a 28, a 33, and a 119. Okay, so here's my strategy. I'm going to go sine law and get this, sine law and get this. So I'm going to call this X and Y. And then I'm going to use SAS and get my final, my lake. Okay, so here we go. 1320 over sine 69. Okay, and that equals X over sine 96. Okay, times divide 1406.17. So that was that sine law. Okay, forget that. I'm going to go into this triangle. So there's a pair. So 1320 over sine 119 equals y over sine 33. And now y equals okay, and now I'm going to use my new triangle on the top half that would look like that. And I would do cosine law with it. So lake squared equals that side squared plus that side squared minus 2 times that side times that side times cos of 43. Okay, don't forget to square root, and you should get 980.97. Okay, you also could have done this by doing the same strategy, finding those two sides, and then using cosine law to get it as well.